Mr. Men, Little Miss the Christmas Elf. Everyone's busy at the North Pole. The reindeer are doing their daily exercises to get fit for their long journey. The Christmas elves were making toys and wrapping presents, and Father Christmas was busy checking his list.
A list of who had been naughty and nice through the year. A list of who was going to receive a Christmas present and who was not. And to make sure he didn't forget Father Christmas, who wrote everything down in the book. A very big book.
Father Christmas is a very generous, kind and jolly person, and because of this, he is very forgiving. You have to be very, very, very naughty to get a red cross beside your name in his big book. How naughty do you have to be? Well, you have to be so naughty that in fact there is only one name in the whole Father Christmas enormous book with a red cross behind it. And can you guess that name? It was Little Miss Naughty, of course.
The scale of Little Miss Naughtiness was such that Father Christmas could hardly believe it. Could anyone possibly be that naughty? So he decided to send one of his best elves to double check, and what that elf saw was one long category of naughtiness from Boxing Day all through the year to Christmas Eve.
And as the elves discovered, the closer it got to Christmas, the more naughty Little Miss Naughty got. She stole all the tinsel in town.
She filled the mince pies with sour lemons.
Father Christmas elf could not believe her eyes. She even got caught up in all of Little Miss Naughty's naughtiness.
And the result of this naughtiness was no Christmas present for Little Miss Naughty ever. Was not once had Father Christmas visited her house. However, Little Miss Naughty had a plan to change this, a sensible plan that would have been to behave. But Little Miss Naughty had no such intention. You will not be surprised to hear the plan involved a little more naughtiness.
Just because it's Christmas, she flew to the North Pole and her elf followed. A very worried elf. What was Little Miss Naughty going to do?
The first thing she did when she arrived was to sabotage Father Christmas' sleigh. Poor Father Christmas, but this was not part of Little Miss Naughty's plan. She could have just not helped herself.
Then she jumbled up all the presents. This was also not part of her plan.
Luckily, the elves managed to fix Father Christmas' sleigh and unjumbled all the presents in time for Christmas Eve. However, that night, Little Miss Naughty crept into the room where Father Christmas kept all his books. Now, this was Little Miss Naughty's plan. She was going to rub out the red cross beside her name and replace it with a green tip. She chuckled to herself, heaved to open the cover of the enormous book. It would be so easy.
But it wasn't, for it was a very, very big book. And it was a very long list of names. Little Miss Naughty ran her finger down the first page. Little Miss Naughty ran her finger down the first page. No, Little Miss Naughty. She turned to the next page. Still no Little Miss Naughty. She turned to the page after page after page. On and on she read. It dawned on Little Miss Naughty that this was going to take a very long time, a remarkably long time.
And a thought occurred to Little Miss Naughty elf as she watched Little Miss Naughty and turned the pages. She told Father Christmas, and he realised that it might be right. So they left Little Miss Naughty to her search. It take a very long time, longer than little Miss Naughty could ever had managed. It took
A whole year of turning pages until finally on Christmas Eve she found her name. "Alas," she cried. "Alas indeed," said Father Christmas, who reached over and put a green tick beside her name. You've done it," cried little Miss Naughty elf. A whole year of not being naughty, which was what she and Father Christmas had hoped for all along. And so that year, little Miss Naughty received her very first Christmas present, but very probably
her last.